Yeah, I'm live. Here I am, live. There we go. I'm all centered. That OCD kicks in. Jesus. Yeah. How you doing? Yeah, here it is, August the 10th, which isn't a big surprise because the last video I did was on August the 3rd, so it's a week later. And I got my water. Yeah. Got my water, all ready to rock and roll. I'm just gonna let Lynette know I'm on now. There we go. There we are. Okay, so yeah, welcome. Here we are. It's summertime. Well, I call it the dying days of summer because we are getting into that stretch now. We're going through August. Technically speaking, this used to be, the end of summer, and um, and I froze there for a second. I've been getting that a lot. I think my Comcast is Xfinity. I'm sorry, Comcast. Whatever. They're being a little crazy on me, but yeah, gotta get the week straight. Nowadays, it's not so true. We all know that these days, it's still like 80 in October. We don't get fall like we used to. We could really use it this year because this summer was kind of brutal. We could use a really nice fall. We could stand to have that transition in early September where it starts cooling off fast. So I like to call this the dying days because, yeah, it used to be. This was the last gasp of summer. Whereas now, this is really almost like the middle of summer. Go figure. But I'm still going to stick to my lines because that's the way it used to be. And there was a lot of near dying going on this week. Geez. Yeah. Jesus. Oh, boy. Yeah. So anyway, so much going on. Not really, but it is. I'm just nuts today. So what's been happening? Anything good, Cassidy? Well, let me just say, the good has really been in short supply this week. There has been some good, but oh man, has there been some bad? First off, nothing on the job front. It's like I said. I talked to some headhunters a couple of weeks ago, and I made the statement last week in my video that was probably going to be the end of it. I wasn't going to hear from them again, and I have not. I have not heard a thing. The only thing that I've heard is somebody was saying they had an RPG job in State College that was part-time. It's like, would you be willing to come up here for 3 days a week? And they weren't even talking money. I even asked them, I says, how much is it? And they said, well, are you willing to come up here for 3 days a week? I just said, no, I'm not. It's not a full-time job. Why would I even consider it? I said, how about some, remote work? I could do remote work from here. And they never got back to me. You got to be shitting me. I'm sorry. But it's just crazy. So this is the week I know I'm going to run out of money. I have an insurance payment, a life insurance payment that occurs this month this coming week, actually. And I know it's going to decimate what few funds I have left in. I'm probably right around about $100 or less in my checking account right now. So when this insurance payment goes through, it's going to overdraw my account, which of course means JP Morgan Chase is going to charge me $35 that I don't have because I overdrew my account, so I'm going to implore people, if you're watching, I really could use like a couple $300 to get by through the end of the month. The only thing I'm spending money on right now is gas and food. And my food budget is basically rice, pasta, sausage, and like the cheapest ground beef I can find. The last time I went out, I got 6 pounds of the 80%, lean ground beef in the big family pack. And I don't give a shit about 80%. I drain the fat off. I don't care. But I need the meat for protein. So basically, I've been cooking nothing but rice and pasta dishes. And I actually cooked a real good potato and sausage dish. And sausage is real good because for like $2 you can get 5 sausages. So, I have like 4.5 packs, over 20 sausages still in my refrigerator right now. So that's my protein. So, I'm not living it up, and I need gas money to get to practice. So if you can help me out till the end of the month, I would appreciate it, because the end of this month is really important. I do need to show up for practice, for working security at our tournament, since I promised. And after that, I've gotten help from a lot of people. Lynette has helped me the most over the summer, the spring and summer this year, in helping me cover my expenses, and I appreciate that. But I'm starting to make plans to vacate the apartment. I mean, I haven't paid my last month's cable bill, so I know if I don't pay it this month, they're gonna yank it. So I won't have cable anymore. I can't afford my rent any longer, and I really can't ask anybody to pay it for me. So I'm making plans to move to Lancaster next month. If by move to Lancaster you mean live in my car, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm already making preparations to grab the things that I know I absolutely need to bring with me. And, once I get that late notice next month, I'm just going to say, hey, I'm moving out. I can't pay. I'm gone. Just give me a few days, I'll be gone. And then, we'll take it from there. I mean, I know there are places where I can get free Wi-Fi for the computer. I know there's places I can clean up if I have to. So we'll take it from there. Maybe what I need to do is get down there and have somebody. Hello? I hope. Hey, Lynette, since you're on, can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? Yeah, thank you. I was getting worried here because I just noticed. Okay, thank you. I just noticed there's been a change in how they're doing this. And I know my webcam is working because I can see it, but my microphone doesn't give me a reading anymore. So I got freaked out by that. So yeah, I'm hoping maybe I'll just hit rock bottom and see if I can get some social services down there in Lancaster way. because I need to get out of Harrisburg. It's not doing me any good here anymore. I'm ready to move on. And even if it means spending the next month in my car, camped out in the Overlook parking lot. Hey, you know what? If I'm living in my car in the Overlook parking lot, I don't have that far to go to practice. Probably won't be able to stay in the Overlook parking lot, though, because the cops come through there pretty regularly. They'll chase me out. I actually have a place where I'm pretty certain I can park and spend the night if I have to. So sometimes you got to hit rock bottom. Maybe that's what I need. So I'm not scared. But yeah, I'm preparing for this. So if you can help me out till the end of the month, that'll be great. And then after that, September, I'm just like going to say, fuck it. It's time to move on. Nothing's happening. Maybe what I'll do is, maybe this is the time to find that job in retail that everybody's telling me about. Christ. You don't expect to do this when you're 62 years old. So, writing. Yeah, I've done a little bit of writing. Nothing unusual, just some editing and stuff. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. Really don't know what I'm going to do with it. And tomorrow starts up recapping again. You can tell I'm excited. I've kind of gotten burned out on recapping. I think it's because now that I'm working for this new group, and they hired me for my voice, but my voice tended to swear a lot more when we were doing the Snarking Dead. And I just don't swear like that as much as I used to, because we're not allowed to. So I find my voice getting stifled a bit. Plus, I don't know anything about how many hits and stuff I'm actually getting. That's really kind of an issue of, so who's reading my shit? I mean, that was one thing. When Rachel and I were controlling the Snarking Dead, it was really easy for us to go out and see who was actually reading our shit. It was simple because you just saw how many hits you were getting. I didn't always get a lot of hits. Rachel tended to get the most hits. But I still got hits. In fact, her and I, it was more me. It was like one time it was like, I finally got more hits than you on an article. And we were laughing about it. But yeah. So I'm back to recapping. And like I said, I don't really know what kind of shit to write for this place anymore. So I don't know what I'm going to do. It could be possible I'm just going to be like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. Just not cut out to be the kind of writer you want me to be. But hey, my Little Mermaid story out here on Wattpad, which is still out on Wattpad, it's been read by 255 people. Or it's at least had 255 views. May not be 255 people, but it's not really moving anymore. So I think it's reached a point of it's gone as far as it can go. I'd like to write an original story. I have an idea for an original story that I'd like to write and put it out there, but I don't know. Writing for me, somebody was actually talking about how they were suffering from a bit of writer's block, and that they had actually sat down for the first time in like 7 or 8 months to write, and how once they started writing, they actually felt immensely guilty about the fact that they hadn't written in 8 months. And it really is true. You do start to feel that way. you do start to feel like, holy shit, I should have been doing this a long time ago. Writer's block, to me, in my case, is just you have this sensation of, I don't really want to do it because it's not going to do me any good. I'm not going to get anything out of this. I'm not doing this for my own pleasure anymore. I think that's a lot of it. Stephen King always talked about, you write for yourself. You don't write to generate money unless you're James Fry. And then you have a factory set up of, basically wage slaves who do nothing but type out your stories for you, which is true. He does. James Patterson has sort of gotten that way too. He farms out a lot of ideas to different writers, and they publish it under his name. I mean, why do you think James Patterson is publishing like a dozen novels a year? It's not because he's writing them. They've essentially turned themselves into a factory. They're an idea factory. They hand out ideas, and then somebody else types it up, and they put their name on it. And James Fry has essentially done the same thing. There's been a couple of stories and exposés about how he hires these young writers and gives them ideas, and they write it out, and he publishes it under his name. But Stephen King would always talk about how you have to write for yourself. And I think in my case, my writer's block is I don't feel any pleasure in writing anymore. So that's where it comes from. There's no pleasure there. There's no impetus. And it's funny because I'll go back and I'll read some of my old stuff and I'll go, wow, yeah, this was really right on. This was really good. And then I'll start to write something and I'm like, why am I doing this? It's your head. Your head fucks with you. It does. And it fucked with me this week. I had a lot of ups and downs this week. And where were those ups and downs taking place? Let's see. What do I use? What are the three main topics I usually talk about? Work, or lack thereof. Writing, or lack thereof. What's that third one? It starts with a D. Oh yeah, Derby. Okay. This has been like the roller coaster of roller coasters for Derby. It really has been. So strap your ass in because this is going to be a wild ride. It really is. So first off, I was supposed to be in a game last Saturday. I had talked about that in last week's video, that I was actually going to play that afternoon. I was going to go up to Schuylkill Valley and play with the Schuylkill Valley Scream Queens up in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Not Pottstown, as I might have said, Pottsville, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour away up in the holler, as some people would say. Yeah, it's like nestled. When they say Schuylkill Valley, they're not shitting you. It is. It's in a valley. It really is. So it's up in one of them Pennsylvania hollers up yonder in the holler there. Better stay away from Copperhead Road. So anyway, me being me, I got all my stuff packed. I got my scrimmage jerseys. I'm all ready to go. I'm excited. I'm posting stuff on Facebook. Hey, look, I got my makeup on. I'm ready to go and shit. 3:45. Because I want to get there at 5 when the doors open so I can watch the bout. Because a friend of mine was actually playing in that bout. So I go down, get in my car, go up to the parking garage, and we have a multi-level parking garage. It's four interior levels and a roof. And there's a big metal garage door, and I go up to it, and the garage door does not open. And it's not opening. And finally, I'm hearing the garage door is stuck closed. They can't get it to open. And apparently it had been like that at that point for like 3 or 4 hours. So it's like, okay, when they're going to open it? And it's like, well, we've already called the people to come out and work on it. And they haven't done anything yet. We don't know when they're showing up. So I'm pissed off. So I finally go back, park my car, go back to my apartment, and I'm crying. I'm on Facebook, like I've had enough bullshit. This is all bullshit. They can't get the door open. I'm losing my shit. I'm crying and everything else that I'm gonna miss this bout. I even typed in and said I'm not gonna be able to make it. Right around 5 o'clock, actually probably about 10 till, they show up with a forklift. These guys that were working on the door, they show up with a forklift. It was actually closer to 4:30, actually. I go down, and they can't get the door open. They're having trouble getting the door open. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going back upstairs. I go back upstairs, and right just before 5, I'm hanging out over my balcony, and I see they're putting the forklift back. And something told me, go down and check to see what's happened. If the door's down, there's nothing you can do. But if the door's up, you get the hell out. I go down right before 5, and we had a 6 p.m. check-in was supposed to be our latest. So right before 5, I go down, and the door's up. They forced it open. So I rush up to my car, get in my car. And I'm on the phone going onto Facebook while I'm driving, and I'm putting a message going, please, I'm on my way in right now. I'm going to be there maybe a quarter after 6 or so. Please let me play, what? And I'm driving 85 miles an hour or 135 kilometers an hour if you're into the metric system, if you're doing the metric system, which if you're outside the US, you definitely are. So yeah, I'm driving like a maniac down the road. And Lynette's messaging me, she's like, oh, I feel, she gave me the little sticker to show she was really upset. I'm like, I'm on my way. I'm voice chatting and I'm on my way. I'm hoping to get there in time, So yeah, I'm driving like a maniac. I don't ever drive that fast anymore. I don't. And I just had it cruise control 80, 85, flying, praying I don't get as much as an atheist can pray. It's please don't let there be a cop around this corner. But I got there right at, it was 10 after, quarter after 6 when I got there. Seriously, I'm actually timing based on how fast I'm driving because I'm seeing mile markers. I knew where I had to get off, mile marker 104 and stuff like that. And I'm going as fast as I'm going right now, I'll be there in 10 minutes, And then I saw mileage signs telling me how far it was to get to Pottsville. And I'm yeah, I can get there. So quarter after 6, I show up. And I'm I'm here for the Battle of the Freshies. I'm really sorry I'm late. And they're oh, go on in. There's a room in the back, change. Oh, yeah. They were what's your name? And I said, Nomi Snarks. And they're looking and I go, what's your real name? I was really? You don't have me down there by my derby name? So go back and I change. I run into some of the people I know from Keystone who were we were wondering if you were going to make it. I was yeah, I know. Jesus. It was just like, oh my God. It was insane. So I get there. Team Black, and we played. And I actually played pretty good. I played Pivot most of the night. Actually did a Star Pass early on. Couldn't jam for shit. I was out there. I was uncertain how sticky the floor, slick the floor was going to be. So I switched over to my sticky wheels, my 84s. And anytime I seemed like I needed to get some speed, it felt like I was really sticking to the floor because my wheels were too sticky for the floor. I probably could have gotten by on my 95s. I'd have been sliding, but I'd gotten by on them. And yeah, it was a good game. I got quite a few kudos for my blocking. I actually was doing some pretty good blocking. I was told by one person that it did seem like after the jammers would hit me a few times, they were really avoiding me because I was usually setting up on the inside. And yeah, the jammers would try to get through. Sometimes they would, sometimes they get around me. Most of the time they weren't. So they were a lot of times when I was out there, the jammers were getting through on the outside. Or at least trying to. A couple of our jammers told us they really loved the fact that I knew where they were coming, and I would be like, either I'm just gonna step back, you go through, and I'll close the hole, or go in behind me because you're getting kind of crowded by the other jammer. So go in behind me in case she tries to follow you. I'll just knock her out. And they really liked the fact that I was setting up for them. Made a couple of really good hits. Knocked quite a few people on their asses. There was one point me and a player named Sergeant Mayhem were going together, and we were just giving some jammer hell. We really were, until Sergeant Mayhem got a directional, which we both you don't argue with the rest, but later she was like, I don't see how that was a directional. I said, I don't either. I mean, I was pushing you into place. I don't see how it was a directional. But that's what we were doing. We were actually pushing each other and, knocking the jammer out. But at one point, I was actually back by myself. I was like at the back of the pack waiting for the jammer. And the jammer is looking at me like, please don't hit me hard. Please. Because I did. I was just like going into him and knocking him down. Yeah, I was. I know the guy who was announcing, George Carnage. I know him from Hard, and I could hear him actually say my name a couple of times because it was real loud in there. It was hard to hear. It was kind of hard to hear at first. When they were calling us, they had all the music and everything. We had a special intro, and they had all the music and everything going. You could barely hear your names. In fact, we had a couple of our players that were still out there waiting to hear their names, and finally did. They go over there and said, your name was called. Go sit down. But it was a great time. I got kicked in the shins. And it was a jammer I know from Keystone Cruise. And I knocked her on her ass. And as she went down, she kicked me right in the shin. It wasn't deliberate. It was one of those where she was going down, she sprawled a little bit, and her skate caught me in the shin. And you talk about painful. That hurt. She kicked me in the right shin. And for a few seconds, I couldn't skate. She got up, and I couldn't go after her because I was in so much pain. I'm like, oh, God. And I finally got going again. But as I came off, I was just like, oh, my God, that hurt so much. And I'm checking myself. Before I got back up with the pack, I actually checked myself to see if I was bleeding. Because if you're bleeding, you can't stay on the track. And if I was bleeding, I was actually going to tell the ref, one of the outer pack refs, I'm leaving the track. I'm bleeding. And you're not allowed to return to the track until the bleeding stops. So anyway, Black won. It was my first win. Yeah. And I got one penalty. I had a directional where I knocked the jammer on her ass real hard. Whoops. Sorry about that. But yeah, I did. It was a directional. And it was like borderline when it happened. I was like, it's kind of a directional. No, it's a directional. I heard him call my name the second time. Because the first time I heard the whistle and I was kind of like, I didn't hear that. And then finally the second time I hear, Black 882! You can hear the ref screaming at me. I was like, okay, I'm off. And one of the best moments was, it was late in the game. I wasn't playing pivot because I had said, I'm not a really good jammer. I can play pivot and I can jam, but I'm not a good jammer. I only had one opportunity to do it. And the one thing I should have done that I didn't do was go out and play jammer. I should have done it at least once. Just to show I could do it. I should have played jammer just one time. Bad girl. But toward the end, we had like this, we were like 8 points up, I think we finally won by 14 points. I'd have to go back and check. But we were like 8 points up at a point. With like 3 minutes to go in the game, we started out behind. Then we took the lead, and we held the lead for a long time. Then we got tied. Then we lost the lead. Then we tied again. No, then we took the lead again. Then we tied again. Then we lost the lead. And finally, with like 3 minutes to go, we took the lead again. So a lot of it was hold their jammers and get our people through. And there was one time late in the game, probably like 2.5, maybe 2 minutes ago, I see the jammer coming and I go to the other blocker. I was like, get together. She's coming. And the jammer hit me hard as the other blocker was coming into me. She hit me and actually bounced back a little bit. And I hear this, really? Like that? And she called the jam because our other jammer was right behind her. So she was trying to keep them from scoring points. But yeah, I'm skating off and I'm looking at our blocker going, did you hear what I heard? And she was like, really? Like, I don't want to have to fight you to get points. So that was my high point. I went home. I had my after party at Sheets. I know how to live large. I had my after party at Sheets. Then I drove home because it was over. When you're driving normal speeds, like I did going home, it takes you more than an hour to get back to Harrisburg. Then Monday night started assessments for home team. And I'm there with a bunch of people. And it's all assessment. It's just like you had to go through your simple minimum skills again. So we had to do, can you weave? Can you plow? Can you transition stop? Can you T-stop? Can you move side to side? I mean, really, it's like tier 1, tier 2 stuff. We actually did tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. All in one night. And then we had to do 27.5. We had to do a one lap in 13 seconds. We had to weave through the cones. Yeah. I mean, seriously, we had to do all this stuff. And I'm doing it. I did get my 27.5. I had to push myself. I was probably the slowest person doing it because I got like 27.25 laps. I know somebody else got 27.5. But I was probably like one of the slowest people. But still, I had my 27.5. Even Mel was marking me, and she's like, She said, I knew you could do it. I said, well, I was at 28 laps when they called halftime. I was at 14 laps when they called half. So yeah, I knew I could do it. I was coming up. Actually, I said I was at 13 and a half laps when they called halfway. So I knew I could do it, get that 27. And I actually pushed myself because I always keep my lap counter with me. And when I look at that, I was like, hey, you can do this. Just, you got to push, you got to push, you got to push. And I did. Got all that stuff. And then we have to do balance on one foot for 30 seconds. I couldn't do it. I couldn't balance on either foot. And I was really getting angry and frustrated. And finally, it was like, I can't do this. No, I can't. And so Mel was like, can you come Thursday? And I said, I don't want to come Thursday just to do this. So she's like, okay, we'll do this before we scrimmage on Wednesday. So what I did was I tightened down my trucks, because part of the problem is your trucks are sort of the cushion that your wheels set on, and it allows you to flex your foot back and forth. So you can actually flex your foot like this, and your wheels are not flexing up like that. They're actually staying on the floor. And you can do that to get more speed. You can do that. Jammers do it. They usually say blockers like me don't loosen their trucks, but I find I can get on my edges better when I loosen my trucks. So I do it. So I tighten my trucks like way down. So my skates, when I was doing it Monday night, my skates were wobbling back and forth like this because that's how my feet are. If you ever see me try to balance on one leg and my flat feet, between my ankle and my knee is going like this constantly. I'm just not really good at it. So I tighten my trucks down, and I'm practicing in my kitchen because it's the only place where I have like a slick floor. You do it on the rug, you're not rolling. One of the biggest problems I have at the Overlook is there's all these little divots and shit in the floor. So you're kind of rolling sometimes when you're doing this. So I'm practicing in there with just my skates on, no gear. Fortunately, it's so narrow. If I felt myself starting to go down, I would have grabbed, but it was kind of dangerous. But Wolf is not going to get after me for doing this. Anyway, so I practiced on it, and then we got early, and Mel says, do you want to try this? And I said, yeah, I'm ready to go. I took my anti-anxiety meds, and she's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, I got to mellow my ass out here. And so I said, let me do my left leg first, because that's the one I'm going to have the most problems with. And I'm up, and I'm up, and I'm up, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, is this going to end? And finally she called time. I was like, man, that felt like it took forever. She even said, she goes, yeah, it seemed to just draw the hell out. I was like, oh my God, I didn't think that was ever going to end. And then I did my right foot. And I said, okay, I'm going to go loosen my trucks because this is driving me crazy. I said, my trucks are so tight. I couldn't skate backwards because I couldn't push. I couldn't push because my skates were locked down so tight. And she was like, okay. So then we go to scrimmage. And the first jam I go out, I do okay. First jam. And the second jam I go out, I'm playing middle. I'm, playing every position. The first jam I went out, I played the inside. Second jam I'll go out, I played middle. I don't even remember who our jammer was, to be quite honest. I can't remember. I knew Kiss was the jammer for the other team. What was I that night? I was black, and they were red. Pretty sure. I can't remember. I don't know. They were black because I had my black jersey hanging up here. I was black. They were red. So Kiss is coming up, and I'm in the middle. So I'm starting to go in and lean in so I could get a seam with the outside blocker, who I think it was Marie. All of a sudden, I feel my left foot kind of either hooked or kicked out from under me. So I'm shifting all my weight over to my right foot. And when the left leg gets hooked out, I got pushed. I kind of overcompensated and kept going over. And then my right skate just sort of stays there and goes like that. And my ankle twisted under at a 90-degree angle, and it went down on it. I was with Kiss last night. We were checking out a venue for our upcoming Derby Ball, and she was saying, I didn't even touch you, and you went down, and I was explaining what was happening. She said it kind of freaked her out because I was going down before she even got to me. And she said, I held up making certain I didn't run you over. But she said, yeah, it kind of like, she knows I don't do that stuff. She said, I hadn't even touched you. You went down. And as I'm going down, there's this immense pain in my ankle. And I'm like, for like a second, it was like, this is it. This is the one. This is where I'm going to break my ankle. And I'm like, as I'm going down because it hurts like hell. And they whistled the jam dead. And I can't even move. And Mayhem and a couple of other people come out. And she's like, and I said, it's my ankle. I don't know if I think I twisted it, but I can't tell. And I could move it, which was good. She got me on my back and took my skates off. And she was really gingerly about taking that skate off. And I said, it hurts. But I was moving my foot, so I said, I don't think it's broken, which was good. But I sprained the shit out of it. It was. Even when she got me back up, she said, you want to put weight on? I said, I went to put weight on my foot. I went, like that. And she's like, don't put weight on your foot. So in a game or in a scrimmage where you have refs, if you force the jam to be called because you got hurt, you can't go in for, they say, a minimum of 3 jams. Some places will just say, well, assume they're going to be 3 2-minute jams. So you can't go back in for 6 minutes. That's the way Roxy used to do it. She's like, if you come out because of an injury, you're out for a minimum of 6 minutes. So that could actually be more than 1 or 2 jams. So I was sitting there for about 15 minutes or so, icing down my ankle, watching things happen. And if you're saying to yourself about this time, Cassidy, I'm gonna guess it wasn't long after that you put your skates on to see if you could skate. You know what? You'd be right. I did. I ended up getting my skates back on, and I practiced going back and forth to see if I could. And I could, with a minimum amount of pain. And by a minimum amount of pain, I mean, there was pain there, but I was like, I can skate through this. So finally I hear, Nomi, you ready? Can you go back in? I was like, yeah, I'll go back in. So I played maybe last 10 minutes of the first half, and I played the second half. And in retrospect, I probably should not have played because I was playing on a sprained ankle that wasn't wrapped. I was only playing at maybe 70%. I was having trouble stopping because I do use my right foot a lot for stopping. I also use my right foot a lot for lateral movement, and I couldn't move laterally real well because my ankle hurt. And I found there were times when I was trying to stop people, I tend to put my weight on my right leg and use my left as the brake. Well, guess what? I can't put my weight on my right leg real well because it hurts. So I was playing it maybe like 70%, maybe 65. In retrospect, I shouldn't have even been out there. I look at it now and it's like, that was stupid. I should have just said, I got a sprained ankle. I'm not going back out. We have a scrimmage this Wednesday. So the thing of it is, I'm staying off my feet as much as possible. I actually have a wrap on my ankle. I have a soft wrap that I've had for quite some time. It's an ankle brace, actually. Probably. Let me see if I can show this. There's my foot. And there's my ankle wrap. Yeah, that's my ankle wrap. Turn this down a little bit. Yeah, that's my ankle wrap. I got my ankle wrapped. I have been alternately icing and heating my ankle so that, it's getting better. And it is actually better. I can flex my foot actually pretty good. And the amount of pain that I have when I walk is considerably less than it was Thursday. Thursday, I was basically hobbling around the apartment. Yesterday, I was actually out walking on it because, like I said, I was out with Kiss yesterday. We were looking at a venue, so I was actually walking on it much better than I had been. So I'm going to be off skates tomorrow. I'm going to be off skates Monday. I'm actually shooting for it to be better on Wednesday for our scrimmage. And I will have my ankle wrapped. I will also have it KT taped. KT tape for additional support. But I will let coaching know if it starts to bother me, I'm going to pull myself out. I'm just going to say. I think I've gone as far as I can. And I'm not going to try to push it any further. So they know I was out with a bad ankle. And they were probably like, you don't know me. You shouldn't be out there. Yeah, but I will tell them. I'll say, I have a game next Saturday. I do. I know. I have a game next Saturday, and I'm really also hoping that I'll be in better shape for that game on next Saturday, which is also another thing I'm shooting for. It seems this goofy ass stuff happens to me. But it is better. I think if I keep icing it and heating it and icing it and heating it, it is getting better. Like I said, there's still a little bit of pain there in my ankle, but it's nothing like it was the other day. And I've still got till Wednesday to scrimmage. So I've got today, I've got Sunday, I've got Monday, I've got Tuesday, and then most of Wednesday. So I still got 5 days for it to heal up. And I think it'll be better. Will it be 100%? Probably not. But I'll do my best. And like I said, I'll let coaching know. If it starts to bother me, I'm going to pull myself out of the scrimmage. Because I want to play next Saturday. And I'm hoping it'll be better by then. We'll see. So that's been my up and down week. Seriously, it's just Derby up and down. Jesus. And yesterday I started listening to the Western Continental Cup. There was actually there was some good games. I can't afford. Normally, I watch it, and it's like $15 to watch a Continental Cup for the entire weekend. But I can't really spend that $15 that I don't have. So Woofda actually they have the audio feed for free on YouTube, and I was listening to that. And basically, the announcers are good enough that I can visualize what the hell's actually happening on the track. So mostly, I'm listening to like who's doing what and what team. And the first game this morning at 10 o'clock is going to be Sacramento Roller Derby against Evil. And Evil is actually Edmonton, Canada. Evil. And they're ranked, I think they're fourth seed. They're ranked fourth right now third. They're ranked third. Calgary is ranked first, and Calgary won last night. That wasn't a huge surprise. They have first seed. They're actually ranked first. There's an Australian team that's ranked second. And the two Australian teams are playing at like sometime around noon today. And this is in Mountain Time because they're doing this in Utah. So it's going to be, first game is actually going to happen around noon, my time. And the second game will happen like at 2 p.m. And I'll listen to it because I want to see. But Evil versus Sacramento, and then both the Australian teams are playing right after that. And then after that, whoever wins the Evil Sacramento team, they play the Rocky Mountain Roller Girl. No, they play who do they play? I think they play whoever won. They're going to play Happy Valley. Calgary is going to play Happy Valley later in the afternoon because Happy Valley won their bracket last night, and so did Calgary. So Happy Valley, who's actually the team that's putting on the Western Continental Cup, they're going to play Calgary later in the afternoon, and then later in the evening. The last game of the night will be whoever wins the Edmonton-Sacramento game will play against whoever wins the double Australia game. They'll be playing against one of the Australian teams. There's a real possibility that the final game could be between the two Canadian teams, Edmonton and Calgary. And if you know anything about Alberta, Canada, you know that there's this huge rivalry between Edmonton and Calgary. There really is. So I told one of my friends who lives outside of Edmonton, I said, this could be pretty interesting. The way it's shaping up, unless there is like a huge upset, and it would have to come from at this point, either Sacramento or Happy Valley. The people playing for the Western Continental Cup are not going to be from the United States. You know, you've got Calgary, you've got Edmonton, you've got two Australian teams. One of the Australian teams will get knocked out today. They have to because they're playing each other. So an Australian team is going to win that bout. It's just a matter of we don't know which one. And then there has to actually be an upset in the games today. Calgary playing Happy Valley and Edmonton playing Sacramento. One of those teams would have to upset those two teams to actually move on to the finals. So it's kind of interesting. It really is. I find it really simple, really interesting. Of course, because I'm on, as we call it, the mothership. I am. I'm on the mothership. That's what we call it. If you can get onto the Woofda page, you're on the mothership. So, yeah, looking at this, Calgary beat United. Happy Valley beat Rocky Mountain last night. So today, like I said, it's going to be Sacramento playing Evil Edmonton. And then Sun State Roller Derby is going to play Adelaide Roller Derby. And whoever wins the Sun State Adelaide will play whoever wins Evo Sacramento. And then at 6 p.m. tonight, Calgary is going to play Happy Valley. So at 8 p.m., the last game of the evening will be the one to determine who goes to the final. Calgary is actually expected to go to the finals, and it's going to be probably tight between Evil and Sun State. And then in the morning tomorrow, actually at 2 p.m. And 4 p.m. is the first of the consolation games. Sorry about this. I'm taking care of some league business. Hold on. Sorry about that. I was taking care of some league business. But anyway, yeah, that's it. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been taking care of. So that's basically it. Basically, wish me luck on the money front, job front, whatever you want. Wish me luck that my foot gets better. What else can I say? I just need luck. So, y'all take care. I'll talk to you later.